And in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about business lessons during COVID and the pandemic. So obviously we know about COVID. It's killed a lot of small businesses, and I think it's accelerated some very positive things. So now we have the ability, as an example, to sell internationally really quickly. So I can book a meeting with someone in the UK, the US, Australia, wherever it might be, and I can have a meeting and actually sell. Whereas in the old way, it was kind of like, well, you had to get on a plane, you had to go to the States, you had to go to the UK, you had to go and meet them in a boardroom, shake their hand, because that's just the way it was. And now things have changed and we'll never go back to the way that it was. Now, on the downside, COVID has obviously, as I mentioned, killed a lot of businesses. But it's always, and I would suggest that any kind of, a pandemic or financial collapse or anything of that kind of nature, the businesses that survive them, right, are the ones that will stand the test of time. So COVID's not all bad, right? And it's shone a light on the great businesses. Like my business still grew exponentially during COVID. Why was that? Well, it's a great business, right? It's had great customers, a great business model, great value proposition, great culture. And that's why I exited that business. So I sold that business. Now, on the other side of the coin, you have all these businesses that have failed, right? They couldn't make it. So sometimes there's just nothing you can do about the reality of a business dying. So retail, hospitality, these industries were hit hard. They didn't have a choice. It was just like, well, there is no plan B, right? I cannot have customers sitting in my restaurants, right? So having said that, it's okay if businesses die. And it's highly likely that when a business dies, that it's not the end for you. So if your business dies, it's not the end for you. It just means the business died. Now, when I've also lost businesses before, and when I was very young, I had my first business failure. One of the lessons I can share with you is that I took that first failure very personally. And it took me a long time to get over it. And what I've learned consequently is that when a business dies, it's not you that failed. It's just the business that failed. There's a fundamentally different things. The business failed. Get over it. Move on. Start another business and keep your head down and keep going. Businesses die every single day. While I've been recording this video, while you've been watching this video, some business somewhere out there in the world has died. Businesses die. It's normal for businesses to die, right? It should not define you. So you get two types of entrepreneurs. You get those that let the fear of failure push them forward, and those that let the fear of failure define them. So if I failed my business, I'm not an entrepreneur, I'm going to go get a job. Really? Well, that's not right. That's not the right attitude to have. The right attitude to have is, well, okay, that business failed. How fast can I move on? So if a business for me failed today, the next day I start a fucking another one, right? Get over it. Businesses die. And the other thing to say is you cannot make an excuse that COVID killed my business and that's how it's going to be forever. You have to put a line in the sand and say, that is it for COVID. COVID did that thing. Now I need to move on. It killed my restaurant business, but now I'm going to move on. I'm going to start something else. And you go and you do that thing, right? Because if it's not COVID, it will be something else. It'll be a financial collapse. It'll be NFTs. It'll be blockchain. It'll be another virus. There's always going to be a threat. What about a competitor that's just kicking your ass? New entrant to the market, eating up market share. They're undercutting you on cost or price potentially, and now your margins are being squeezed and you don't have a runway left. Businesses die all the time for 1,000 different reasons. And what I've learned is that you cannot make COVID the monster forever. It may be the monster today, but it's not the monster forever. Businesses die. It's time to move on and start another one. They don't define you. That's what makes a great entrepreneur. The greatest indicator of future success is the ability for the entrepreneur to persevere. That's the number one criteria. So what are you doing about persevering, my friends? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. This is Matt signing out. I'll see you again soon.